The alien empire of Graxian had never lost a war. For over 500 years, their fleets crushed every enemy. Their soldiers were tall, strong, and armed with weapons that melted steel. When the humans arrived in the galaxy, the Graxians were not afraid. They laughed. Humans were small, weak, and came from a planet no one had heard of. Now, on the rocky surface of planet Jora, a small human team stood ready for battle. There were only 12 of them, and their armor looked old. Their weapons looked simple. Across the field, thousands of Graxian warriors stood in shining battle suits, watching with glowing eyes. General Vork of the Graxian Empire spoke to his second-in-command. "These are the humans they talk about. They look like broken toys." The second-in-command chuckled. "Let's finish this quickly. The Emperor wants a message sent to Earth. He wants them to know who rules this galaxy." The battle started with a loud blast. Human guns flashed with red light, fast and sharp. For a moment, the Graxians were surprised. The humans moved fast, very fast, and they worked like one mind. They took cover, used the land, and fought with deadly aim. 3 Graxian soldiers fell in the first 30 seconds. It was not much, but it was more than expected. Then the Graxians pushed forward. Their power was too great. One by one, the human fighters were taken down. Still, they did not scream. They did not run. Even when outnumbered 100 to 1, they kept fighting, kept shouting orders, and moved with strange calm. One Graxian commander said, "Why do they fight like they have already won?" Near a broken rock, the last 4 humans were pinned down. They had no more grenades. 2 were injured. Captain Elias, the leader, wiped blood from his face and looked at the sky. "We're not going home, are we?" asked one of the soldiers, coughing. "No," said Elias, "but that's not our mission." He pulled a small, damaged radio from his belt. Its antenna was bent, and sparks came from the side. Still, he pressed the button. "This is Captain Elias, Team Sigma. Mission complete. Tell Earth." He paused, staring at the Graxian army rushing forward. "Tell them. They're coming." Then silence. Blasters lit the sky. Dust rose. When it cleared, no human stood. General Vork walked through the battlefield, proud and calm. He looked at the bodies of the fallen humans and shook his head. So weak, so foolish, they thought they could fight us. But deep in his heart, something felt wrong. Why did so few come? Why did they not surrender? And what did that message mean? "Tell Earth, they're coming." Back on the Graxian flagship, the recording of Elias's final words was played again and again. Some officers said it was nonsense. Others were not so sure. One tech officer found a strange signal just before the message was sent. It had come from deep space, far beyond any known human base. She brought it to her commander. "It looks like a relay signal. Someone received the message." The commander frowned. "Who?" She looked up, voice low. "I don't know, but it was big. Whatever it was listening." Across the galaxy, far from Graxian eyes, something old and powerful woke up. Engines hummed in the darkness. A hidden fleet, asleep for years, started to move. One ship lit its engines and turned toward the stars. One by one, others followed. Earth had heard the message. But this was not Earth's full force. Not yet. They had sent only 12 soldiers. They knew what the galaxy would think. Weak. The Graxians had laughed. They had recorded their victory. They had sent the message to every system. "We beat the humans." But humans were watching too. And they were not laughing. They were planning. And they were coming. The first battle was over. But the war was just beginning. After the battle on planet Jora, the Graxian Empire celebrated across the stars. News channels repeated the footage. A small human team defeated by superior alien warriors. The message was clear. Humans are no threat. But not everyone was so sure. Commander Sharn, in charge of border security, stared at the reports from Sector 9. A Graxian scout ship had gone silent near the edge of their territory, an area of deep space with nothing but dust, rock, and old ruins. Sharn tapped his desk. "Where is Scout 17? They were due 2 days ago." An officer replied, "No answer, Commander." Last signal was a short burst, strange static, and then one word repeated. "What word?" The officer looked nervous. "Run." The Graxian Empire didn't believe in fear. They believed in control, in power. But the strange disappearance forced them to act. They sent a battle cruiser to investigate. The ship, Claw of Iron, arrived at the last known location of the missing scout. There was no sign of enemies, just floating metal debris. But the crew soon realized something terrifying. The wreckage didn't belong to Scout 17. It was human tech, but nothing like they had seen before. Commander Rael of the Claw of Iron ordered a full scan. The debris showed signs of massive energy output, far beyond what the Graxians believed humans could produce. "What is this?" he asked his tech crew. "This kind of firepower, it's not possible for humans." Then they found the data recorder still active in the wreckage. They played the last message. A human voice, calm and cold, said, "Engage protocol blackout." They took the bait. Phase 2 begins now. The crew froze. "What bait?" whispered Rael. "What phase?" Back on the Graxian homeworld, analysts began to panic quietly. The small human team on Jorah had not called for help during the battle. They never used long-range signals, but someone still heard Captain Elias's final words. A scientist spoke up during a High Council meeting. "Sir," he said, "I believe we were being watched, not just by Earth. Something else is out there, something larger. The humans may not be alone." Laughter followed. One senator called him a coward. Another said, "Humans have no allies." But the scientist shook his head. "They do now. They've built them. Silently, patiently." He brought up images of strange new signal patterns from the edges of known space. Ship movements, pulse signatures. None matched any known race. "Then what are they?" asked one council member. The scientist looked up, pale. I think they're human fleets we've never seen before. Hidden fleets. Quiet ones. They're not coming fast. They're not making noise. They're waiting." "Waiting for what?" the general asked. The screen changed. A signal was playing on loop. One word, repeating through deep space. "Awakening. Awakening. Awakening." A week later, Claw of Iron disappeared. Its last message was short. A scream. A flash of static. And then nothing. The Graxian High Command issued an alert. "Unknown enemy activity. Proceed with caution." For the first time in centuries, the Graxians were afraid. They had defeated a small, weak team of humans. But now, something bigger was moving. And it was headed straight for them. In the cold dark of space, a massive Graxian sensor station floated above a dead planet. It was designed to scan deep space for enemy ships. For years, it had detected nothing but silence. That changed today. The scanners picked up something strange. Dozens of unknown signals, moving together in perfect formation. They were coming from beyond the galactic border, from the void where nothing should exist. "Are those human ships?" asked the lead technician. "No, not human," said another. "At least, not just human." The signals were clean, fast, coordinated, too perfect for pirates, too advanced for rebels. The technician zoomed in. Each ship bore a different symbol, different language, different design, but they all moved under one banner, a single white circle on a black field. On the Graxian capital, panic began to spread in quiet whispers. Emperor Kael summoned his war council. "These ships," he growled, "who do they belong to?" The answer came from a nervous intelligence officer. "They're a mix of species. Some are from old empires we destroyed, others from neutral systems, all thought to be weak or extinct. Now they fly together, under human command. Kel's golden eyes narrowed. The humans made alliances. Yes, Your Grace. Somehow, they united the forgotten, the exiled, the broken. The council chamber fell silent. One general stood. How did we not see this coming? The answer came from far away, on the edge of known space. A Graxian listening post intercepted a conversation between two alien ships flying under the new banner. It was a transmission meant to be private, but the Graxian techs managed to record it. The voice of a tired old alien captain said, "For years, they helped us rebuild. Quietly. No demands. No threats. Just food, tech, and hope." The other voice replied, "Humans waited. While the Empire crushed everyone, humans built something stronger than fear, trust. Now," said the first, "they lead, and we follow." The signal ended. The tech officer who played the recording said, "Sir, the humans didn't need to conquer. They just gave people something better." Back in the War Council, fear turned to anger. "We must attack now," one general shouted, "before these so-called allies reach our borders." But it was already too late. In a distant sector, a Graxian patrol ship encountered the fleet of the Allied force. The patrol captain opened comms. "Identify yourselves. This is Graxian territory." A human voice responded. Calm, sharp, unshaken. "Not anymore." Then the ships decloaked. What followed wasn't just a battle. It was a warning. The patrol ship was destroyed in seconds, but one escape pod was left untouched. Inside was the captain, and a message from the fleet. "You defeated 12 humans. That was a test. You ignored their warning. You laughed at their strength. You forgot who they really are. This is not the human army. This is just the beginning." On the Graxian homeworld, the message played across command centers. Generals stood silent. The Emperor clenched his fists. They had mocked humanity for being alone. But now, they weren't. The humans had allies. And they were moving together. And still, Earth remained silent. Still, the full force had not arrived. The galaxy held its breath. Something bigger was coming. The Graxian Empire was on edge. Their border fleets were stretched thin. Their enemies, the ones they thought extinct, now flew with human support. One by one, small colonies stopped responding. Trade routes vanished. Signals from deep space grew silent. But still, Earth said nothing. No direct broadcast. No formal war declaration. Until now. On a quiet morning at Graxian High Command, every screen in the room suddenly went black. Then a single message appeared. White text. Black screen. One line. That was not our army. No sound. No video. Just those 6 words. Confusion spread. General Vork, survivor of the battle on planet Jorah, stood frozen. He knew what it meant. The 12 humans they fought, the ones they called weak, weren't the real threat. The Emperor called an emergency meeting. "Who sent this?" He barked. Traced the signal. But the text couldn't. It came from 100 points at once. One engineer said, "It bounced through relay satellites we didn't know existed. It's as if Earth is everywhere." The Emperor slammed his fist. "Then show me Earth's army. Show me what's coming." The screen flickered again. A new image appeared. A massive silhouette of a warship, larger than any Graxian dreadnought. Quiet. Still. Orbiting a dead star. Under the image, 2 words appeared. "Stand by." Meanwhile, in a hidden command center far from Earth, a human officer met with alien leaders. One of the alien generals, tall and armored, said, "The Graxians are panicking. Do we move now?" The human commander, an old woman with steel-gray eyes, shook her head. "Not yet," she said. "We haven't heard from Earth. Not the real Earth. But they sent the message. That was not our army." The commander nodded. "Exactly. That means they're watching, planning. And when they come, it won't be a fleet. It'll be a storm. Back in Graxian space, new reports arrived. Sensors picked up movement near the red expanse, an area long believed empty. A fleet was gathering. But not just any fleet. These ships were faster, quieter, and shaped differently than known human ships. Some were triangular. Others looked like floating fortresses. Some didn't appear on scanners at all until they were right above. One Graxian analyst whispered, "These aren't the human allies. These are Earth's true weapons." In secret rooms across the galaxy, hidden human commanders opened sealed orders. Each envelope had the same phrase written on the outside. Operation Second Son. Begin only after message sent. Now, with the message delivered, silent engines roared to life. Earth wasn't responding to the war. Earth was starting one. But not with anger, with precision. On a desert planet under Graxian control, the ground shook. A single black human ship descended. No markings, no name. It hovered above the command base. Then it spoke in every language at once. "We sent 12. You called them weak. You saw allies. You thought that was our strength. You wanted to see Earth's power. You will. But not today. Today, you remember. Tomorrow, you run." And then it vanished. Back on the Graxian capital, Emperor Kale stood silent. He realized the truth. They had already lost the element of surprise. Earth was awake, and the full force, still waiting. The stars above the Graxian world of Varnak Prime were calm, until they weren't. Without warning, the sky changed. First came the shadows, long, wide shapes that moved without sound. Then came the tremble in the ground, not from attack, but from something massive entering orbit. The clouds didn't move. They shattered. People on the surface looked up and saw something they had never seen before. A wall of ships. They didn't flash their weapons. They didn't speak. They simply appeared. A single line of human ships, black and silver, stretched across the sky. Each ship bigger than the last. Quiet. Still. Waiting. Then the largest one moved. It cast a shadow across the planet. Its name slowly blinked into view on the side. HFS Judgment Day. A ship never listed in any records. A name never spoken. Even human allies had never seen it. Until now. Inside the Graxian palace, alarms blared. General Vork rushed into the war room. How did they get this close without warning? An officer cried, "Our satellites were blinded an hour ago. We thought it was just solar interference." "Solar interference doesn't fly in formation." Vork snapped. The Emperor stood still. What do they want? No one had an answer. Suddenly, all communications across the planet went dead. Radios, networks, holograms, everything. Then one sound came through, all channels, all at once. Footsteps. Heavy, slow, echoing. Then a human voice spoke, calm and direct. "This is not a siege. This is a reminder. You saw 12 and thought you understood. You watched our allies and thought you'd seen our army. You were wrong." On the surface of Varnak Prime, a bolt of light shot down from orbit. It didn't explode. Instead, it built something. In seconds, a tall black tower rose from the ground, smooth, silent, glowing blue from within. It bore no weapons, but everyone who saw it felt something. Fear, not because of an attack, but because of what it meant. Humans didn't need to destroy. They could choose not to. And that choice was more terrifying than war. Across Graxian space, panic spread. Ships deserted their posts. Colonies stopped responding to orders. Old enemies of the Graxians, once afraid, now started to rise. Not because Earth commanded them, because Earth had changed the game. Back aboard the Judgment Day, Admiral Wren stared out at the stars. Her crew waited silently. No orders were given yet. She finally turned to her officers and spoke. "We've shown them what waits in the dark. Now we wait." "Wait for what?" someone asked. She looked at the hologram of the galaxy. 100 red dots blinked, each one a hidden human fleet now revealed. She pointed to the Graxian homeworld. For them to choose, surrender or vanish. On the Graxian capital, Emperor Kael gave his answer. He stood before his people, voice shaking. "We once believed humans were ants under our feet, but now we stand in the shadow of giants." He paused. "This is not war. This is warning. We must listen, or be swept away." The sky had split open. The message was clear. Earth had arrived. And this was still just the beginning. The Graxian Empire tried to appear strong. They held meetings. They showed images of their armies. But deep down, they knew the truth. They had seen Earth's warning. And now, the waiting was over, because Earth was done sending messages. Now, they were sending warriors. Across 3 star systems, Graxian forces were pulled back to defend the core worlds. But that's exactly what the humans wanted. From the dark edges of space, stealth ships moved in. Not to destroy, to disable. Communication hubs went silent. Fuel depots vanished in blue flames. Command stations were left untouched, but powerless. The Graxians didn't know where the attacks were coming from. No sound, no trail, just chaos. One Graxian admiral said it best. "We're not fighting an army. We're fighting a ghost made of metal and fire." In one of the outer colonies, a human ground team finally showed itself. They didn't fire the first shot. They offered surrender. But the Graxian officer refused and attacked. The humans responded. Fast, brutal, precise. In 40 seconds, the entire Graxian squad was defeated. Not killed, disarmed, disabled, and left alive. A message was painted on the wall in burning plasma. This was mercy. Next time, we won't stay. Inside Earth's Fleet Command, Admiral Wren received her new orders. A single message from Earth's central AI, sent across 1,000 relay points. Phase 3. Direct engagement approved. No speeches, no drama. Just quiet green lights blinking across every human fleet. The real war had begun. The Pact, the alien allies of Earth, launched their own strikes. One fleet took back a system the Graxians had ruled for 200 years. Another burned the chains off a slave world. A third surrounded a Graxian shipyard and simply waited until every worker surrendered. The galaxy began to shift. Worlds long afraid of the Graxians began to rise. Because behind them was Earth. But not everything went as planned. On planet Wrecker, a hidden Graxian science base revealed a terrifying secret. They had been building something to match Earth's growing strength. A weapon, one they called Project Iron Sky. A living ship, part AI, part organic. Faster than light, stronger than steel, powered by fear. When the humans found out, it was already too late. Iron Sky had launched. The ship tore through a packed outpost in seconds. It bent shields, shredded hulls, ignored gravity. Even Earth's stealth ships couldn't touch it. Admiral Wren watched the reports come in. She didn't panic. She turned to her officers and said, "This is why we didn't bring our full force. Because monsters like this were waiting to be unleashed." Then she tapped her comm. "Send it." Across the stars, one ship powered up. A human vessel even larger than Judgment Day. Codename, Oblivion Hammer. Its engine lit the void like a second sun. Now the galaxy held its breath. The humans had finally started the war. The Graxians had released their monster. And both forces were heading straight for each other. The battle to decide the future of the galaxy was about to begin. And this time, Earth wasn't holding back. The stars were no longer quiet. The galaxy held its breath as 2 monsters raced toward each other. The Iron Sky, the Graxians' final weapon, Living metal, made for one thing, destruction, and Earth's hidden power. The Oblivion Hammer, a city-sized warship designed not just for battle, but for ending wars. This was no longer about borders, no longer about power. This was about who would shape the galaxy's future. Near the dead star of Calran 5, the two ships met. Sensors across the galaxy picked it up. Even species not part of the war stopped to watch. First, silence. Then, a pulse. Then, impact. The iron sky struck first. Its claws slashed across shields, bending space. The Oblivion Hammer didn't dodge. It absorbed the hit and answered with a cannon blast that tore a moon in half. The battle lasted 6 minutes. That's all it took. Because when Earth builds a weapon, they don't build it to survive. They build it to finish. In the final moments, the iron sky tried to run. It opened a wormhole, but the Oblivion Hammer followed it through, inside the same jump. The last image caught by sensors was simple. Two ships locked in fire. And then, nothing. Gone. Across the galaxy, the message came through. Iron sky, destroyed. Oblivion Hammer, not returning. But humanity didn't mourn, because that was the plan. The Oblivion Hammer was never meant to return. It was a message in the form of a ship. We don't seek war, but if you bring it to our door, we will end it. With their greatest weapon gone, the Graxian Empire fell apart. Colonies declared independence. Fleets stopped answering commands. Even Graxian officers began to surrender. The Emperor was never captured. He simply disappeared. Some say he fled. Others say the Pact let him live to carry the story back. 1 year later, a peace summit was held on Neutral Station 9. Representatives from 60 different species arrived. And for the first time, a human walked into the room unarmed. The crowd stood. Some in fear, some in awe, but mostly in respect. The human speaker said one thing. We never wanted war. We asked for peace. You called us weak. You should have left us alone. Now, the galaxy remembers a simple lesson. Humanity doesn't come to conquer, but when pushed, they build empires, they create alliances, and they finish wars, all in silence, until the sky opens and the stars burn.